Barely 2 years into office after William Ruto took oath as the president of the Republic of Kenya, he is back on top of vehicles with lofty promises. Notwithstanding the fact that there are several promises that he gave us in 2022 while he was campaigning to become the president of the country. And we are back into full politics. The political class are already making realignments, and their focus is not on the pledges that they gave us, but on the next general election, which is 2027. And you and I, if we are not careful, we are going to be played like ping pong ball. Last time, we were divided and we were following our de facto leaders. If you are a Luo, you are following, and I believe you are still following Raila Odinga. If you are a Kamba, you are, and I believe you are still following Kalonzo Musyoka. If you are a Kalenjin, you are, and I believe you are still following William Ruto. And if you are a Kikuyu, most likely you are, and still following Rigathi Gachagua or Uhuru Kenyatta. Now, the most painful part of it is that last time, the political class, for example, William Ruto and Rigathi Gachagua were working together, and therefore they expected Kikuyus and Kalenjins to be friends. And because Raila Odinga, Kalonzo Musyoka, and Martha Karua were on the other side, the political leaders expected Luos to be the enemies of Kalenjins, of Kikuyu and Kikuyus. That is what they have crafted, and that is how they want us to live. They forget or they assume that where you are staying, most likely, you stay with all tribes. Your neighbors are Kalenjins and Kikuyus and Kisis and Luyas and Luos. And when you lack something, you don't call Raila or Ruto or Kalonzo or Gachagua or Mudavadi. The next person you knock onto his door is your neighbor, regardless of their tribe. And I'm saying this because I know that we are very much gullible, and if we are not careful, we are going to allow these people to start hoodwinking us, and they are going to start now dividing. Look at it. There's a general feeling that Raila Odinga and William Ruto are working together. And if you're not careful, you are going to fall into a trap where if you are a Luo and your neighbor is a Kikuyu, you will start looking at them as your enemies, notwithstanding the fact that you've lived together in peace. If you are not supporting William Ruto in 2022, now you are Kalenjin, whom you are not talking to because Ruto and Raila were not reading from the same page, all of a sudden will become your friend. But that is just a caution. Ladies and gentlemen, when William Ruto ascended to power, he was assisted by some powers. And I want to pick on two people. I want to pick on the IEBC, led by Wafula Chebukati, Abdi Gulie, and Boya Molo, and their counterpart, the judiciary, the Supreme Court, led by Madam Hot Air. The reason why this has become very interesting is because of the political situation that we are in. When they gave William Ruto this power, they had some people in mind that they wanted to punish. We are told, for example, that Uhuru Kenyatta had denied the judiciary some funds, and therefore they pronounced their ruling to revenge on Uhuru. And some of the people like Chebukati were pronouncing that the ruling and declared William Ruto to send Raila to Bondo. Now today, all the people who voted for maybe William Ruto are wondering, especially those who did not want William Ruto to come close to Raila. They are now talking together. And I want to draw your attention to what ensued when, after the protest led by Azimio leadership and supporters. And it culminated into a national dialogue committee. on the government side that was being led by Kimani Chungwa, and on this side being led by Raila Amolo Odinga. IEBC chair Wafula Chebukati and Abdigulie rejected those talks. And I want us I just want to jog your mind. This was reported in The Nation that Wafula Chebukati, why we can't appear before Kalonzo Ichung'wah team. People were being invited to review on what happened. And Chebukati, in his own wisdom or lack of the same, decided he was not going to attend. And the story here is very long, but I want to quote Chebukati verbatim. Chebukati was saying this. He actually wrote a letter explaining to them why he was not going to attend the he was not going to be part of it. Professor Abdigulie, Moluboya, and I won't appear before the National Dialogue Committee to discuss issues that have been resolved. According to Chebukati, those issues were done with in Bomas and at the Supreme Court. To do so would be to betray IEBC staff who have been tortured and murdered and to reward impunity. Instead, a commission of inquiry should be informed. According to Chebukati, the only thing that he wanted to happen was a commission of inquiry to inquire into what happened in Bomas, because according to him, some people wanted to force him to announce Raila Amolo Odinga, declare him as the president. Now, I want to read just a little. It continues to say that during our time in office, we delivered on our mandate, including the success conduct of the 2022 general election. It is through those elections that the president, governors, senators, members of the National Assembly, and those of county assemblies now occupy their offices. Some of them are now members of this committee. The discharge of our constitutional and legal mandate, as detailed above, is self-evidencing. In other words, I don't want to continue reading it. Chebukati distanced himself from any possibility of attending the NADCO dialogue in Bomas. Now, Abdigulie, while speaking on TV 47, said something too that corroborated what Chebukati was saying. Ruto Raila talks are a mockery of democracy, Gulie said. And in summary, I just want to quote him. I don't want to read many things. He said, the talks are a mockery of democracy. What is the point of going into an election, spending billions of money, time, and thereafter we don't respect the outcome of that process? Gulie was talking on TV 47. And he continued to say, as Kenyans, we should agree that if we will not respect elections, political barons can sit under a tree at State House and agree on how to share power. Ladies and gentlemen, Abdigulie and Wafula Chebukati felt that they procured one of the most credible and verifiable elections in the country, in the history of our country. And therefore, they did see the need of politicians coming together to talk. What they did not want to hear or to imagine was Raila Amolo Odinga and William Ruto coming together, because they felt that would betray their process. Today, as I speak, William Ruto himself went to Raila Amolo Odinga and he sought his assistance, just like Uhuru did, just like Kibaki did to people like Nyachai when he was in power. And they have a working relationship. As we have said before, there are two divided opinions. There are people who are praising Raila and they are saying Raila came up at a time when Kenya was about to collapse. And he came to rescue the nation as he has always done. Another school of thought is saying that Raila is a sellout. That after people have died on the street, people who responded to his call, Ruto must go, and they went on the streets and the police killed them. There is no justice, yet he has gone into government and he has nominated his 4 members of the ODM to occupy portfolios in government. I don't know, it is for you to judge. And you, if you voted for Raila Amolo Odinga, for someone who did not believe in Raila's political ideologies, he presented himself and you voted Ruto, you believe that Ruto is good, please spare Raila. I don't want to be the judge. My point here is, how do you think Wafula Chebukati and Abdi Gulie feel now? Because they had rejected any kind of dialogue between these two leaders. According to Gulie, if politicians do not want to accept and respect the verdict of the IEBC institutions that are mandated to procure elections, then they should, he calls them political barons, can sit in State House and decide on how to dish out positions. How do you think they feel now? And this is the nature of our politics, very dynamic, full of interest and self-aggrandizement, and of course, full of betrayal. As we speak, I know Chebukati feels betrayed. Abdi Gulie feels betrayed. What about Martha Koome, who declared all the prayers by Azimio as hot air, wild goose chase? Today, the hot air and wild goose chase, these people are working together. In fact, take for example somebody like Eliud Owalo, who was a government CS. He's been kicked out, and Raila has his people. I don't want to repeat that this is about the politicians and not about us. But I'm only saying that our politics is one that usiweke kwa roho. The governor of Uasin Gishu, Mandago, once told William Ruto, please don't harbor any bitterness, any political bitterness in your heart, because it will only, consume you like fire. Because our politics keeps on changing. What about the rebels who went and greeted Ruto in State House? Between them and Raila now, who would Ruto want to be next to him? Because when Raila got into that unseen handshake, those people are a forgotten lot. And that is the nature of our politics. William Ruto has decided, just like Uhuru did then, to forgo the advice of the people he worked with very closely. And he has now joined hands with Raila Odinga. Looking into the future, I see a situation where there is going to be a formation like that of 207. Because in 207, Kalonzo Musyoka was with Kibaki, all sort of, they formed a government. And Kalonzo somehow and Martha Karua, they seem to be on the other side. Raila Odinga, Mudavadi, and Ruto, just like they were in ODM, seems to be looking into forming another coalition. My only worry is that coalition, whether formed by Kalonzo or all these people, are they going to have the interests of the people at heart? Because we are now campaigning about 2027, yet there are several things that we promised Kenyans. Wafula Chebukati and Abdi Gulie, what can they say now? Because these people are now working together. If you ask them, they're saying they're working for the sake of the nation. In fact, our dynamic nature of politics has played out in such a way that William Ruto is now accusing his deputy as the one who wanted to sabotage him in the Gen Z's protest. In fact, yesterday we were being told that there are certain senior staff from the DP's office that are being investigated. And if you ask me, let them not hide around senior staff. They are targeting Rigathi Gachagua. That is the relationship. That is how bitter their relationship has become. But ladies and gentlemen, these are things that we really need to learn. Do not trust politicians. Do not kill your fellow Kenyan because of the politicians. Do not kill a Kalenjin because today Ruto is on the other side and you're not with them and you feel that all Kalenjins are Ruto. Do not hate Luos because you feel that now you are not reading from the same political page with Raila, so you think all Luos are Raila. Do not hate Kambas because you feel that if Kalonzo is not with you, all Kambas are Kalonzo. These people have always told you that the political class belong to another level. They are rich. The children go to the same school, they worship in the same churches that you might not even step into. When they are sick, the kind of hospitals that they go to, you can never even afford to be there. So as you continue wrangling and mnapigana huku chini, these people are doing businesses together. They are friends and they want to use us. They want to let us feel that the country is in a crisis. If people are forming their own alignments, the rest of the country should also form their alignments to ensure that their views and their feelings are taken care of. Because we are the people who vote in those leaders, and they are paid very heavily and maintained by our money. Let us be very careful next time, so that my point here is, let us be very careful so that we don't start hating each other along tribal lines. Let us be like Gen Zs, who are telling us they are tribeless and leaderless and partyless. But I feel they have a leader. They cannot organize themselves in such a manner. So, ladies and gentlemen, William Ruto has betrayed Wafula Chebukati, has betrayed Abdi Gulie, has betrayed Gachagua, of course, who said, please don't have any handshake with Raila Amolo Odinga. The rebels who went to him have been betrayed. That is why people like Owalo are not there. Madam Hot Air Koome is looking at things and she cannot believe it. Let us vote wisely and let us love each other as Kenyans. Because if you try to follow politicians, they will play around with your feelings. In the next 2 months, you might even hear that Ruto and Raila wamekosana. Now is back with Rigathi Gachagua. I just want us to be very careful. Now, Warai, let us be a people who love each other. Let us uphold democracy. Let us know that there are only 2 tribes in the country, the rich and the poor. And let us shun tribalism. The fact that you're a political figure from your tribe is not reading from the same page as another political figure from another tribe does not mean that now you, the 2 people from different tribes, must now be fighting. No. I don't want to think, but that is my take.